Ladies and gentlemen, Summoners, the last match of the day. Best out of 5 winner moves on to the Europe Cup. We got the pre-bans in Oliver and Nana, ISMOO versus CHENE.
I do wonder if ISMOO is going to be trying to play around that ragdoll or stick with his usual draft.
Here we go, ISMOO picking up Merlong for first pick and CHENE responding with the segment as first pick very quickly but unsure with his second unit.
Well, straight away, ISMOO is bringing out units that do well against Ragdoll. The Molong also digging into Shen's box because Shen really likes that to pick up that Molong himself. I'm probably expecting the Molong to be really competed for in this match. Is Shen going to bring out one of his oracles that he likes to prick so much?
Shen brings out that Cigar, Wind and Bison, locked in for his second unit.
Very interesting, Shen bringing out 2 strip resetters super early on in this match. ISMOO could definitely play around that by bringing out units that don't really care about being reset, as he is doing right now already.
There we go, ISMOO picking up the Juno and the Dominic for second and third unit.
Yeah, Juno and Dominic are really scary stuff, and in fact, combined with the Molong, they could take out one of Shen's units before he even moves. Shen is definitely going to want to think about bringing out maybe a Masher or something, but I don't really know if Shen has a Masher. We know that Shen's box is a little bit more limited than most players that we are seeing here today.
There we go, Shen picking up that Shizuka and the Wind Monkey King as his fourth unit.
Wind Monkey King is a solid pick against the Dominic and the Molong because you can tank a few hits. The Shizuka is an interesting choice. I'm not sure if there's too many buffs or debuffs on the field for Shizuka to actually take advantage of.
ISMOO drafting that Masha and the Riley as his final 2 picks. What will Shen pick up for his last pick?
I'm really liking the Masher pickup right now, as well as the Riley to keep ISMOO's team alive. I'm not sure about this Wedgeat that Shen's just picked up. He's going to take the first turn, but what is he actually going to do? There's no damage almost from Shen's side.
Yes, Shen picking up that Wedgeat for that final unit. Bans are about to come in any moment now.
I think ISMOO might want to think about banning out that Xingzhou, the Wind Monkey, potentially being the main source of damage from Shen. Shen is going to be scared of potentially all of these units from ISMOO. Everything is a really strong pick.
As predicted, Shen's Wind Monkey gets banned. The Riley gets banned as well. ISMOO goes with the HP lead from the Dominic and the HP leads for Shen's side. Here we go, guys. This is our last match for the day, but it is a best out of 5 unit. Winner moves to the last spot in the Europe Cup. Who will it be? We got that segment with the first turn. Will she land the reset on one of the units on ISMOO's team?
Well, Shen has 2 chances to reset with both the segment and the cigar, but there's only really the Molong that's worth resetting, to be honest. And this Juno, when she gets to move, she's going to be so impactful in this match because she gets to strip all of those buffs, and any debuffs that Shen brings will not do very much.
There we go, that Cigar doing some resetting on that Merlong, also provoking him at the same time, dealing a defense break onto Merlong. Shizuka, your turn.
It's actually a little bit unfortunate for Shen that the Cigar is taking that additional turn so that there's no defense buff and anti-crit buff up anymore. Shizuka's going to have to protect him as she does because the Cigar will probably be one of the first focuses of damage for ISMOO.
Here we go, Dominic with the improvisation weakness shot, doing some serious damage into that Cigar, bringing him way below, just below halfway HP. Segment with lots of debuffs on ISMOO's team, but looks like Shizuka is about to take a turn.
I think if I were Shen, I would definitely hold off on Shizuka's skill 3 because I'm pretty sure that Juno still has her strip available. If Juno uses the strip right now, then Shizuka can come back and use her skill 3.
Juno with the skill 1 into that Cigar. Cigar goes into the Dominic, provoking that Dominic. Masha, skill 1 into Cigar. Cigar taking some hits. Segment, here we go.
Segment can actually reset the Juno. I think this could be a good time to do that in order to make sure the Juno doesn't have any strips available, and so that Shizuka can then use her All Things in Nature.
There we go, Dominic with the provoke, taking out that Cigar. He had no choice, but Cigar was taken out and he is back because he had the revive.
Well, he's chosen to use All Things in Nature at a point where he does have schools available, and the Cigar can actually reset the cool times, which is really smart from Shen.
There we go. Segment skill 1 taking out that Dominic. Masha, fast link. Where will the damage be? It directed goes into the Cigar. Cigar was taken out, but he is back. This Shizuka doing a lot of overtime today.
Well, the Dominic might be down, but this match is certainly not over because we know how much damage the Masha can do. It's all up to this Juno. Is she going to land the strips she needs to land? If she does, there's going to be a lot of dots.
Here we go. Molong failing to land that defense break. Cigar with the defense break with the skill 2 lands the defense break. Molong looking provoked right now. Shizuka skill 1 into Molong. Juno takes a turn. Oh, manages to stun the Cigar. Masha with the fast link.
Well, actually, in Juno didn't really need to use the strip because Shen's units took so many turns, and that was down to Cigar resetting the attack bars earlier. And Wedjat, we know actually Wedjat's passive gives his team extra attack bar based on the number of buffs they have on the field. That is perhaps not super well known because Wedjat doesn't get picked too much. He also heals the team based on debuffs. Wedjat actually brings some interesting stuff to the table that Shen is taking advantage of right now.
That was a huge resistance from Masha before with the segment, but segment has another turn to reset that Masha. Masha has been reset. Immunity has been taken off her. Juno with the skill 1 into that Cigar. Molong follows up, takes out that Cigar. Shizuka, here we go.
Interesting choice from Juno not to do the strip and turn those buffs into dots. She's still saving it for Shizuka's skills. Shizuka so impactful, bringing back that Cigar in order to reset the Molong. Don't think the Molong is ever going to use anything apart from skill 1 in this match.
There we go. Wedge putting in some damage into that Masha. Oh, segment landing a defense break, a heal block, and a glancing on the Masha. Juno with the skill 1 onto Wedge, managing to stun him. Shizuka failing to strip that Masha with that skill 1. Segment goes for the strip, manages to strip the will of Masha but not dismounting her. She survives by an inch.
I feel like ISMOO should go for the segment instead of the Shizuka. I'm not sure about that target selection. You can save that Shizuka until last because it's much easier to do damage to the segment first.
Here we go. Segment dismounting that Masha. Masha has been dismounted. What does Shizuka do? Skill 1 into the Masha. Molong returns the favor, lands skill 1 and defense break into the segment. Masha taking out that segment. This match has turned around. ISMOO looking very favorable right now. Shizuka, it is your turn. All things in nature. Or will you go with skill? Oh, he gives up. ISMOO taking that first set in our final match for this evening, guys.
Well, again, you know, you look at the combination of Masha and Dominic again as well. Dominic getting out very early on, but ISMOO with that Masha just constantly managing to deliver such damage. You know, despite the fact we saw Cigar holding steady, keeping the team together there and being very impactful for Shen, ISMOO just working his units magnificently, and Shen has to concede their bows, just cannot continue in that match with the strength that he's seeing in front of him.
Pretty much, we've seen in this match a story of so many other matches in this meta where Shen, he was able to take plenty of turns, but he just didn't have the damage. And it reminds me of a recent match with Raxas, or rather with Glorious, actually, when that Masha was able to make a huge comeback. ISMOO's Masha survived for long enough to take out quite a number of units, and it was really, really incredible to see. This is why I really enjoy this meta at the moment. There's units like the Masha that can just do so much damage out of nowhere, take things out, and it makes for some really, really exciting and fast matches.
It really does. It really does. And that was glorious. I'm going to go there. I'm going to say it. I'm going to use the pun. However, ISMOO Shen game 2 now. Can ISMOO continue his winning ways, or can Shen get back into this? It's pick and ban time. Bows Killer, do your thing, lads.
Here we go, guys. Shen and ISMOO are up versing each other. The pre-bans are in. We've got the Dominic and the Ragdoll pre-ban.
Indeed. The last match, Shen was really lacking in damage because he didn't have the Molong available, and this time he has the first pick, so this is going to be a very different match to the last one, I feel.
Yeah, Shen gets first pick, locks in that Molong for his first unit. ISMOO responding with the Praha and the Shizuka.
ISMOO is the player bringing a little bit less damage this time round. Praha does have that speed buff that can work out well with a Masha pickup potentially coming up, because I don't think Shen has any more water units he can use up.
Shen picking up the Juno for the second unit, and a third unit will be anything right now. Goes with the Cigar and locks in that Cigar.
Cigar is an excellent counter pick to both the Praha and the Shizuka, resetting their skills after a strip. And so ISMOO is definitely going to want to bring out some units that can really take out the Cigar and the Juno potentially.
Wow, ISMOO with the Marsha and Oliver for his third and fourth unit. Shen flashing that Automail.
Wow, Arsenal, not a unit that we've seen very often, but actually it has been impactful when it has been picked up. Arsenal is sort of a counter to the Praha and Masha, but at the same time, I'm not sure if he's strong enough to be banned out. I think ISMOO will be thinking about bringing some fixed damage to counter that Artemil though, or just something to stun that unit.
There we go, Shen picking up that Automail and Wusa for his final two picks. ISMOO has a few seconds to decide how to draft up his final unit.
I think ISMOO is lacking a secondary stripper unless he bans out the Wusa. If he wants to keep the Wusa in, he might want to bring in something like a Chompunk or more. Or he might just want to focus on doing that fixed damage. As I said earlier, the Miles is an excellent counter to Artemil.
Like you said, yes, fixed damage. Miles comes out to play as the final unit from ISMOO's side. There we go. This is the draft against each other. What will the bans be?
I think the Molong might be a good ban because that's a gen source of burst damage. I think on ISMOO's side, there's a lot of scary things, but you might just want to ban out the speed lead potentially.
Here we go. Molong gets the ban. Praha gets the ban. Shen versus ISMOO. Leader skills are in. ISMOO with the speed lead. And Shen with the defense lead. 44% could benefit the Automail in this match.
It could benefit Artemil, but it doesn't stop the Miles because the Miles' fixed damage is ignore defense. So let's just see how much damage Miles does.
There we go. Miles takes the first turn. Where will the damage be directed? He goes into the Cigar. Resistance from the Cigar gets an additional turn.
That was really, really unfortunate for ISMOO. He really needed that strip in order for Oliver to reset the Cigar. Now Cigar is going to be able to reset one of ISMOO's units. That was really, really huge. Is ISMOO going to be able to make a comeback from this situation? Because once Wusa puts up the immunity, it's going to be difficult for ISMOO to get through all of that protection.
There we go. Marshall with that fast link available. Where would the damage be directed? Goes into that Juno. Oh my god. The HP from Juno dropping way below 50%. Oliver with that Mega Impulse Gun on Automail, putting his attack bar back down to 0. Shizuka with all things in nature. Oh, lands the debuff and the stun onto the Automail. Wusa puts up that shield on Will onto Shen's side.
Interesting time to use all things in nature. I think it kind of makes sense because Juno can strip and turn those buffs into dots. So better to use it whilst there are not as many buffs rather than to wait for Wusa to bring out that shield buff as well. Now it's going to be all about if Juno manages to strip these buffs. Is Miles going to be able to take some extra turns? And how long this Masher is going to stay on the field?
There we go. Cigar managing to provoke that Shizuka. Juno with the strip, goes for the strip, succeeds and lands the debuffs. Oliver gets stunned, but doesn't matter because he procs out of stun with the skill 1 onto Juno. Cigar, here we go.
Miles is going to be a really important unit in this match because at the moment Shen has a lot of buffs. Miles is going to get some extra speed and he's going to do quite a nice bit of damage. Question is, how long will he survive for? Because ISMOO doesn't actually have much stain on the field.
There we go. Miles that puts that damage into Juno. Marsha follows up, puts more damage into Juno. Juno's still surviving. Juno dismantling that Marsha, gets another turn with that skill 1. Where would the damage be? He puts it into Marsha. Marsha dismounted below 50% HP. Oliver, Mega Impulse Gun onto the Cigar. Cigar has been reset and pushed back.
It's a very tanky Juno, but I think that this Miles is going to be able to take her out on the next turn. The Cigar is now the real threat to the Miles because the Cigar can really keep him locked down. If this Wusa actually managed to get reset by Oliver, as we are seeing now, though, ISMOO could really start to turn the screw.
There we go. Marsha dismounted, but still plenty of punch left. Where will the damage be directed? Looks like it might be going into Cigar. Here we go. Marsha into Cigar. Automail revenges, but fails to stun her. Oliver.
I think Oliver is going to have to be careful to make sure that he keeps the Wusa in check so he doesn't get the shield back up. This Miles, though, will actually benefit from Oliver getting the shield. Does he want to actually focus this cigar down first?
There we go. Miles with the spin grab shot into the cigar, doing some serious damage.
Indeed, that is a really nice choice to put the soul protection on Masha so that Masha can survive a little bit longer. But let's not forget, Artemal has a strip on his skill 1. If Artemal manages to put that into the Masha, or if Masha manages to proc, then this Shizuka skill will have been wasted. And indeed it is.
There we go. Masha gets stripped. That's huge. Soul Protect gets stripped, and she is taken out of this match from the counter attack from that Artemal. That is massive. Miles with the spin grab shot into Cigar. Cigar surviving by an inch. Wusa takes a turn, puts up the shield and immunity up.
I think things are looking very good for Shen right now because once this Miles goes down, he doesn't have his Artemal counter anymore. And he has so much sustain with the Wusa and the Artemal. I do feel like there was some slight skill selections that could have been modified on ISMOO's side. The completely wasted soul protection on the Masher was definitely one of them. He could have used it to reduce his own cooldowns instead.
Here we go. He chose to bring back Masha to hit into a water unit. I'm not too sure about that. Here we go. Oliver with the impulse gun, resetting that Wusa's attack bar. Artemal with the heal or the skill 1. Goes with the skill 1 into Oliver, dealing some serious damage. Oliver with the mega impulse gun, pushing back that Wusa's attack bar, increasing the cooldown. Gets another turn, but the Artemal revenges and stuns him.
Indeed, Killer, another strange skill selection from ISMOO, but it is not over yet. I do think, yeah, if he used that skill 2 on herself or on Oliver, it might have been a potential better choice, but he keeps choosing to revive this Masha for some reason.
Yeah, fire into water, Masha into Wusa, not doing too good for that Masha actually. Wusa surviving because he's getting hit by fire. Shizuka, skill 1 into the Wusa, manages to strip that defense buff. Mega impulse gun into the Wusa, takes him out. Artemal returns the favor and deals some damage into the Oliver. Oliver trying to reset that Artemal's heal. Mega impulse gun into the Artemal, increases the cooldown. Are we going to see a comeback?
This is a very, very close match indeed. It's all about whether Oliver manages to crit Artemal or not. He'll want to not crit Artemal, to be fair, because Artemal will revenge and potentially take out Oliver. I do think ISMOO has really ruined this Oliver to counter Shen by putting him on 15% crit rate, minimal or close to that, because he is not crit very much and Artemal isn't revenging. This is a really good tech for Shen's units because Shen also has the ragdoll as well that suffers against crit rate.
Wow.
Well, there you have it. ISMOO comes back from what we thought was a lost cause there with a 2-0 advantage now. Shen needing 3 games in a row to get a place in the Europe Cup, with ISMOO needing just the 1 victory. Explain this to me, Baus. You guys were kind of surprised by this. What do you think the reason behind continuously rezzing the Masha was to come back and attack? What do you think the reason behind that was from ISMOO? Because you seem quite surprised by it.
I was surprised because he kept on using the Masha to go into a water unit, and maybe he just thought he was up against it and was hoping for Masha to crit the water unit, because Masha does do more damage than Miles, generally speaking, if she crits. But I think using the Miles, rezzing the Miles would be a much safer play because the Miles will do fixed damage. I think there were a couple of occasions where he had chosen the Miles, he would have just finished off that Wusa a lot earlier and it would have been nowhere near as close. I don't think he needed to do that. He decided to gamble. But, I mean, it worked out in the end either way anyway. I think putting such low crit rate on Oliver was the deciding factor because the Oliver just... I mean, it was like an old Oliver. It was a pre-nerf Oliver. Just kept on moving and moving and not letting Shen move at all.
Exactly. It's kept on going. Well, can Shen keep going in this next matchup by having to win this one against ISMOO, or will ISMOO book his place in the Europe Cup? Let's find out as we head back into the pick and bans.
Here we go, guys. ISMOO match point to advance to the Europe Cup. Shen looking for a comeback. The pre-bans are in. Oliver gets the pre-ban. Shizuka gets the pre-ban. 2 units that we've seen do a lot of work in the last few matches.
I'm not surprised at all by that Oliver pre-ban there, Killer, because Oliver just controlled Shen's draft beautifully. Doesn't want to deal with that speed lead. Doesn't want ISMOO to be in control this time round.
Yeah, ISMOO picking up that Murloc very, very quickly for first unit. Shen responding with the Nana and the Abilio.
Shen completely changing up his draft once again with the Nano Rebellion. 2 units bringing a lot of sustain. Classic Shen, once again, no real damage. And I think this is a good time for him to pick up that Cigar again. That is actually a really solid pick for him.
There we go. ISMOO responding with the Praha and the Dominic for second and third unit. Shen picking up that Wind Monkey King.
Wind Monkey King the Xingzhe is also a solid pick. It's going to be really hard for ISMOO to take out any of Shen's units. Not sure why he's taking the segment instead of the Cigar, given the elements that ISMOO is bringing to the table so far.
There we go. That segment was locked in for Shen. ISMOO responding with his final 2 units. Tessarion and Riley for his final 2 units.
Tessarion is actually a really nice pick against what Shen has here right now. There's 3 passives from Nana, Abellio, and Xingzhe. At the same time, Shen will probably be thinking to ban out that Tessarion. If he bans the Tessarion, he can bring something like a Diana or a Cigar from earlier, and that would work quite nicely too.
Shen picking up that Bolvak for his final unit, and the bans are about to come out. What are we expecting, boss?
Well, Bolvak is an excellent counter pick to Riley, so he might want to take that away if he doesn't want to, if he is expecting to keep the Riley on the field.
Yep, the Bolvak gets the ban. Tessarion makes it through. Dominic gets the ban. Here we go, guys. Match point for ISMOO. This is a final match for the day. It is a best out of 5. There's still a chance for a comeback for Shen. Here we go. Segment, first turn. Will he manage to reset a unit or steal some immunity?
Well, the Molong is the only reset that really makes a huge amount of sense. So with the Molong gone, ISMOO is actually not representing very much damage. It was a really good ban from Shen to take out the Dominic, because if Shen doesn't have much damage, if you just let the Dominic just keep on taking turns, he's going to destroy you.
There we go. Praha putting Shen's team to sleep. Segment and the Wind Monkey King are both asleep. Molong putting in some damage into that ability.
I think that Tessarion is going to be really impactful in this match, especially with the speed buff and the attack buff from Riley and Praha. Tessarion is going to do a huge amount of damage. If he puts the Oblivion on Nana and takes a proc, he might be able to take out the Wind Monkey rather quickly.
And there we go. Abilio dealing his damage into the Praha. Tessarion about to take a turn. Where will the damage be directed? Oh! Massive damage on that. Abilio manages to land the crit.
That was so much damage on Abellio. Really fortunate to both crit and land the Oblivion, and ISMOO is looking at a really, really good spot right now.
Yeah, the Tessarion's triple crush was very serious. Monkey stuns the Tessarion. Nana goes for the defense break, manages to land 3 out of the 4 units with the defense break. That is kind of huge. Nana gets additional turn. Where will the skill 1 be directed? Directed into Tessarion.
Let's see if this Praha manages to move ahead of Abellio and take him out.
No, Abellio cuts in, gets the heal, goes damage into Praha. Praha's got the defense break, so that was almost taking that Praha out. Praha revenges, gets the attack bar boost, but she's not looking too healthy right now.
Wow, that was a huge amount of damage for Shen with that defense break on the Praha into the wild blow from Abellio, and he's giving him Nana an extra stack, and things are looking very much good for Shen right now.
Yeah, segment skill 1 taking out that Praha. She was on the brink of death. Riley with the skill 1 heal, damage onto the Wind Monkey King. Segment goes with the debuffs on the enemy team. ISMOO not looking too good right now with all those debuffs on his side.
I do wonder if ISMOO should have thought about picking up a unit that deals better with all of the water picks from Shen rather than the Tessarion. Whilst Tessarion does well to put Oblivion on Nana and on Abellio, he doesn't able to bring the damage unless he gets really lucky like he did at the start of the match. And now things in the long run are starting to look not so rosy for ISMOO.
The resistance from that Tessarion when the segment tried to reset that triple crush. Here we go. Abilio with the skill 1. Will he be able to stun one of these units on ISMOO's sides? He manages to stun that Tessa. Tessa misses a turn. Melong with the reckless assault available, but doesn't matter because Nana still got the Salt Harvest stack over there. Oh, does not manage to kill that Wind Monkey King.
This is a really crucial moment right now, because if Tessarion, or ISMOO rather, get some nice procs, he can take out one of Shen's units. It's going to be vital to put the Oblivion on Nana and then take out some of Shen's units whilst he can. But he's going to need some seriously good luck in order to pull that off.
Oh, it doesn't look too good. That Riley getting out of this match. Here we go. ISMOO quits that match, giving Shen a comeback with 2-1 at the moment.
That's right, Shen there. I mean, just doing everything necessary to fight back with ISMOO. I mean, ISMOO loves to pull out surprises, but in that instance, conceding to Shen there, Baus, just feeling that it wasn't the one. It wasn't the one for him. It wasn't going to go his way, and you can see there was kind of a defeatist. I mean, why was ISMOO more defeatist in that game comparatively to the one prior to that? Do you think it was just a pick and ban that influenced like the way that he approached that game massively?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the pick and ban made a huge difference. I think his pick of the Siren was a decent pick, but not good enough because he just didn't have the damage in order to deal with Shen. Of course, Sekhmet reset the Mo Long as well, and elementally, all those water units were just really difficult for Shen to deal with because his main source of damage was a fire unit.
Yes, it was, and water is such a powerful, I mean, element as we know here as well, fellas. So it'll be interesting to see how ISMOO can fight back here because we go into the next game. This is game 4. Obviously now Shen has clutched one back to make it 2-1. ISMOO, can he seal the deal, or is this going to go the distance and go the full 5? We'll have to wait and see what happens as we head in to the next game. Once again, it's ISMOO versus Shen with Baus and Killer bringing you all the action. Let's go.
Here we go, Summoners, set number 4, 2-1 advantage. ISMOO pre-bans are in. We got the Ragdoll and the Dominic pre-bans.
The Dominic is a unit that is really threatening to Shen's draft, and it's no surprise at all that that gets taken out. Not sure if the Ragdoll needs to be pre-banned, really. I don't think that ISMOO really fears that unit that much anyway.
Here we go, Shen picking up that Mo Long very, very quickly for his first unit. ISMOO responding with the Shizuka.
Shizuka is quite an early pick at this stage because there's not really any unit that's synergizing or countered by the Shizuka right now. But I mean, I'm sure that ISMOO can follow that Shizuka up with some other units that do go well with her.
There we go, ISMOO picking up Shizuka and Oliver for his first 2 units. Shen responding with a Juno, and he flashed the Praha, but he has changed his mind, takes the Praha out and brings out that Sekhmet.
2 really good picks from Shen so far, actually. Both of them deal with the Shizuka and the Oliver pretty well. Both the fire units do well against the Oliver, and also Juno can strip the Shizuka's buffs, and Sekhmet can reset either of those units. Looking good for Shen so far. He's also guaranteed to have an HP lead. It's going to be a really tanky, and ISMOO is going to have to bring a lot of damage and control in order to deal with Shen's draft.
ISMOO picking up that Marsha and taking that Praha for his 4th unit, and they are locked in.
I really like those picks from ISMOO. Praha and Masha synergize really well together, and they also do really well against Shen's draft. The Masha is going to potentially be able to take that Juno quite quickly, which is going to be vital if ISMOO is going to win this match.
Here we go, Shen with the final 2 slots. What will it be? Brings out the Wind Monkey King again, and his final unit with the Artemel locked in.
Oh wow, I think it might be Miles' time. The Miles worked out quite well for him in the recent past and will do quite well against Artemel. I don't think ISMOO fears Artemel that much, but he was able to deal with Artemel really quite well recently, but I don't know if he wants to run it that close this time round compared to the previous match either.
Oh wow, Fang Yang final pick. The bans, boss. What are we gonna see? Oh, Oliver and Mo Long get the bans. All right. Shen versus ISMOO. It is a match point for ISMOO. They both go with the HP leader skill.
Yeah, both really tanky teams this time. No speed lead from ISMOO. Both really, really sensible bans, speed lead, and main source of damage being taken out on either side. I can't really tell which way this is going to go.
Here we go, Sekhmet going for the reset, possibly on the Shizuka or stealing the immunity from the Masha. Oh, resistance from the Masha! Juno follows up on Shen's side with the Juno. Will she go for the strip or the attack bar and damage from skill 1?
Not sure if there's any need to strip because Shen doesn't have any units that follow up on the Juno. I was really surprised about the fact that he went for the Masha as well. I guess he just wants to take out this Masha as quickly as possible, but he could have actually reset either the Praha or the Shizuka instead.
ISMOO going for that AoE sleep on Shen's side. Shen's whole team is asleep right now. Shizuka putting a soul protect onto the Praha. Masha dealing some serious damage into the Juno. Juno revenges, gets some attack, but twice! She revenges twice, managing to survive from that defense break and healing herself a little bit.
This is why revenge runes are so important on Juno. I didn't mention earlier, of course, this Feng Yang pickup. New didn't actually show his Feng Yang too much today. In the end, it's ISMOO that's shown the Feng Yang. And Feng Yang is good pick into Arsenal because he provides that defense break, he provides that fixed damage scaling with defense, and it looks like he's going to be really impactful on this match, actually.
Yeah, Juno has been deleted. She is out of this match. Masha skill 1 into the segment, not dealing so much damage, even though there's a defense break. I believe she missed the crit there. Monkey King revenges into the Praha. Praha has the will. She was not stunned or defense broken. Segment takes a turn into the Masha, manages to strip all the buffs. Here we go. Shizuka, your turn.
I just can't see how Shen is going to have enough damage to take down this Feng Yang. Shen doesn't really, I mean, both the Wind Monkey, the Xingzhe, and Artemis do decent damage, but Feng Yang is usually built very tanky. I don't know if ISMOO has a fast one or a tanky one. Probably a tanky one, and once this segment goes down, this Praha, the Shizuka, the support cast actually go excellently as well. Really, really well drafted from ISMOO.
There we go. The Praha with the AoE sleep again. The Masha, the damage into the Wind Monkey King. There we go. Praha almost taking that segment out. Feng Yang goes into segment. Segment is out. Monkey King fell into defense break. That Feng Yang.
I do feel like today ISMOO has shown Catch how to deal with a draft like Shen's. Single target is the way forward. Catch relied on those AoE units, whereas ISMOO is bringing things like Masha, like Dominic, that do much, much better. Also assisted by a support cast that actually synergizes really well. Praha synergizes incredibly well with Masha, and Shizuka is just good with everything. Really, really nice selections and pickup from ISMOO, as you of course would expect from a past world finalist.
There we go. This Aramail, even though he is stricken on every single counter attack, is it going to be enough to put pressure on ISMOO? But ISMOO in a comfortable position with all of these 4 units with huge buffs. Here we go. Shen quits the match. ISMOO takes the win with a 3-1 and moves on to the EU Cup, which is live in Berlin in September.